and it's really good to speak with you. Obviously, I want to emphasise the value we place, the priority we place on our relationship with India. I have met with Dr. Jaishankar more than any other counterpart, which reflects the priority we give to this relationship. We are in a time of great change. I think what you see in Australia is a very reliable, stable partner that shares a great deal of your strategic objectives, which are what I describe as a peaceful, stable and prosperous region which all sovereignty is respected. So very happy to have a conversation with you. Obviously, one of the areas, there are lots of areas where there's strategic alignment, but one of the things that is most, I think, is so important in the relationship is the Indian diaspora. And I don't know if any of you were here when Prime Minister Modi visited, but it was really quite moving to see how many of the Australian Indian community came out to the various events. It's very exciting.
One question each. Yeah. Let's start from you.
Hello, wonderful to meet you. I'm
Thank
Naima
you.
Basu, I'm an independent journalist and also with a think tank called Gateway House in Mumbai.
Right.
Just wanted to understand from you, looking at the tensions between India and US, I know that's a bilateral relationship, but do you think that impact will be felt in the Quad, because India is really looking forward towards the Quad summit and Australia is also a very key partner for that?
We're strong. Yeah, we're strong supporters of the Quad, and obviously, I'll leave it to others to deal with, engage bilaterally on issues that they want to deal with. But I would always say that we should all. It's good for all of us to remember what we share, and we do have a lot of shared objectives around the Indo-Pacific, and we are Quad partners. Not just because we're Quad partners, but we're Quad partners because we have those shared strategic objectives.
So my question is that what specific initiatives are you pursuing to strengthen India-Australia collaboration within the Quad framework to address the regional challenges in the Indian Ocean?
Sorry, the Indian Ocean. Well, I think Jai has spoken at great length to me personally, bilaterally, about the importance of the Indian Ocean, and has asked us to, I guess, become more energetic in our engagement on the Indian Ocean, and we've sought to do that. So at his request, we hosted, remind me of the
Indian Ocean Conference, February last year.
It was last year, yes, the Indian Ocean Conference in Perth. Well, obviously, it's the Indian Ocean capital of Australia, and he working more actively in IORA together. And India makes a very important point that if you want stability in the Indo-Pacific, there's two oceans, and so we need to make sure we're focused on that. Obviously the Quad agenda, I think leaders and foreign ministers are working through how to prioritise and focus that, particularly with the new US administration. But one of the things we really appreciate is the perspective. I think one of the strengths of the Quad is that the different countries bring different perspectives to the region that we share. So Japan has a very clear view about North Asia and has a particular historical relationship with China. And it brings that perspective. You have, obviously the US is such a great power, India, which is also so important and has a particular Indian Ocean perspective, and Australia, I think, is one of the great strengths of the Quad.
You mentioned China, Foreign Minister. I'm Shubhajit Roy from Indian Express. I wanted to ask you, India has just started its repair of its ties with China.
Yeah.
And Prime Minister Modi is headed to Tianjin for the ASEO summit in a couple of days now. I mean, how do you see this move of India's sort of repairing its relationship with China?
Well, I don't. What's the matter for India? But perhaps if I make some observations about how we approach China, which may or may not be pertinent. China is a great power. China is asserting its interests as powers do, particularly great powers. some of those interests don't accord with Australia's interests, and so we know that there will be differences in the relationship. We also have areas where we can cooperate, and so when we talk about cooperate where we can, disagree where we must, and engage in the national interest, it describes a way of dealing with the relationship which recognises that there will be areas of difference and recognises there will be areas of cooperation, and also recognises the importance to both our countries for mature engagement. Now, that's the approach we take, and from my observation, it's the approach that India seeks to take.
Ma'am, this is Kamalika from CNN News 18. My question to you is the present situation, the tariff war that's going on, and the India-USA situation, and what's your take on that?
Again, I'll leave you to comment on your bilateral relationships. I can tell you what Australia's position is. We don't support tariffs. We believe in the logic of the post-war economic order, that openness can enable growth, and our economy is a testament to that. Australia has developed our economy and advanced over these last decades because we have traded with the world in large part. And we also see trade engagement as being a critical enabler of peace.
So, ma'am, I'm Siddhant from WION. I've been to Australia in the past, including at the Indian Ocean Conference in Perth.
Oh, good. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I did. So, my question is, ma'am, we saw the terror attack in India, the Pahalgam terror attack. We also saw your support as well. But in terms of practical support, what kind of support Australia provided to India in terms of dealing with the cross-border terrorism issue, an issue that is a big issue for India?
Yes, look, obviously I spoke to your Foreign Minister after that, and you saw, as you said, my public comments. We've welcomed the ceasefire, we welcome efforts to assure peace and stability, and obviously one of the key aspects of that is to counter terrorism.
Ma'am, this is Vinaya from The Hindu. I want to ask you, beyond Quad, what does Australia expect from India from an Indo-Pacific strategic perspective?
Well, we want a deep, strong and trusted partnership with you.
Any specific fields of collaboration?
Well, we can. I'm sure talk through the gamut of the whole breadth of our relationship. We do a lot together, but I think fundamentally it comes back to this: we are at a time where the world is the global order is being reshaped, the regional order is being reshaped, and we have a responsibility to influence that reshaping. And we want to work with India because we see a lot of convergence and alignment in the sort of outcomes we want from that reshaping. We see the attributes of the region that we want as being shared objectives. So it's a very important time for us to keep working together. And I think, I've been at Quad meetings, I've been at bilateral meetings between the Prime Ministers, and I think that is understood from the Prime Ministers down. So thank you.
So, on the Khalistani...
Lakhs of Indian students, they see Australia as a great education destination.
Yeah.
But recently, government of Australia has increased visa fee and reserve fund. So, in that direction, what you are doing to satisfy Indian students, for that matter, the international students, because they have a lot of concern about the visa.
Sure. Look, what we have the education exports. So international students coming to Australia is a very important part of our economy, and it's also a very important part of our bilateral relationships. And our regional relationships. My father was a Colombo Plan scholar to Australia, so I've known through my own life the importance of that experience of education and what that means longer term for our bilateral relationship. There have been various reforms in the education area. They are about trying to improve the quality of the educational offer. We have been really clear. We will continue to welcome international students, but we have sought to improve the quality of that education and also to stabilise the numbers, which obviously spiked as a consequence of post-COVID. Okay, so
roll back.
thank you.
One more question.
One more question.
Yeah, you and Foreign Minister Jaishankar attended President Trump's inauguration
We did.
ceremony, and you had your first meeting with Foreign Secretary, Secretary of State Rubio. Do you see this Trump administration's turn against India? Does that surprise you? Did you expect it?
Well, they're your words. They're not my words. And what we would want as friends of both countries, and as obviously we're an alliance partner of the United States, is to say we share so much. We share not just history, but we do share very clear objectives about the attributes of the region in which we live, and we always encourage dialogue, and we are strong supporters of the Quad for the reasons I've outlined. Thank you very much for your time.